So that being said, if there is like, 5 best sellers at this restaurant, the restaurant evolution menu would be those 5 veganized, but also like showing how much healthier it is. So it's like giving people incentives to choose the plant-based option, and also to see like the reduced impact, because like, taking like a burger versus, a rice and whatever burger, like a beef burger, you know what I mean? Like it's not only healthier, but nutritionally it's superior, but also it's reducing impact, and then not serving it in like, styrofoam, that also reduces impact. So that's what it is. It's
Hey everyone, this is Andrew from Creating a Vegan World, and in this episode we're interviewing Angela from Kindred Kitchens and Restaurant Revolution, where she's helping restaurants turn their menus more plant-based and vegan to help supply the growing demand. So if you listen to this interview, you're going to learn a lot about what she's doing, her work. Some links are in the description if you want to check out more of her work. Subscribe to this channel, and more videos like this to come. Do you want to start off talking about your background, your history with veganism?
Sure. I became a vegan on March 1st, 2015, and it was mainly just because I got into a discussion with a vegan, and I always consider myself an environmentalist. Like, I'm an activist of all different kinds, but she really made me realize what speciesism was. You know what I mean? Because I said something, I was like, oh yeah, but those are farm animals. And then she's like, yeah, but it's still murder. And it was kind of like just that like point. I was like, wow, I'm totally programmed to be so desensitized to these animals just because we don't think of them as animals. Like, we don't see it as an animal. We see it as like a package. So it was just kind of like that realization. And then I was already off of milk because I found out that I'm lactose intolerant. So it was like, that was kind of like the easy switch. Like, I pretty much ate mainly plant-based like my entire life. Like, when I was like cooking for myself, I just felt like I did it for health reasons, I guess, but I always just like it worked better with my body. Like, I felt healthier. So it's kind of like a natural switch. But then, as a new vegan, you're like, oh, all the rules. And like, you're like learning what it is to be vegan, when you just have to start reading labels, which people should be doing anyways. But it is like, that's one thing I give vegans credit for, is that they're very conscious about what it is that they're putting in their body. Like, they take the time to at least read the labels and stuff. Not always discerning for bad ingredients, but at least for animal stuff. So,
and some things are tricky where it says plant-based, but it still has like egg ingredients in there. So reading the labels, or did I see the Be Veg certification on your site?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I interviewed Carissa Grands on this channel, and she's saying, I think it's after the interview where she really broke down saying the details of like, I could go the easy route, or I could go the long, hard route and make sure everything's 100%. And she obviously chose the right way. So when I saw that, I love seeing people connect.
I'm working with her for the Restaurant Evolution.
Great.
So like, because our mission is to make veganism mainstream. So yeah, it's no time like the present.
Definitely. And when you said you made your friend had the conversation with you as far as calling them farm animals, was it a quick wake up, or did it get to you right away, or did you take a while to comprehend it? Most people, they don't make the connection even when you say it directly.
Person, and I do love animals, so it was just it was like a realization. Like, I did switch right away, because to be honest, like, I never really ate that much meat. I didn't like it per se. So it wasn't actually that hard for me, because as somebody who's like been cooking and doing stuff all my life, like, it wasn't like I was trying to replace something. So I think that's the obstacle for most people, is everything is like centered around the meat. But like, for me, it's just like, wow, these are a bunch of plants. Let's just throw them together and make something fantastic. And it's like so simple, but they make it so complicated because they're trying to replace this thing that's centered around the meat. And that's not necessarily even a healthy way to approach what we're eating, So, but yeah, it was a pretty, once I decided, I was like, why do I need to? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's so much more aligned with me, with what I'm trying to do, and like help save the planet. Like, I want to protect the future and stuff. So it's like, it is such a big way to have such a positive impact. You know what I mean? Like, it impacts your health. So you're going to feel better. You're going to look better. You're going to lose weight. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be more productive. but you're also going to be protecting the planet. Like you're reducing your carbon footprint by so much, like water, by the land and everything. So it was like, it's like, why? And I don't want to kill anything. Like, you know, I don't want to be subconsciously or like passively responsible for something suffering. So it was an easy switch.
Absolutely. Love the passion.
Yeah.
So you said you did a lot of activism. So I guess what did you do before, and I guess transition like what you're doing now with the activism or making the difference to your business?
Okay, well, I've done a lot of different activism. Actually, ironically, just before this, I was doing a beach cleanup with my friend Wayne from Eco Movement, and what I would do is we actually teamed up because like I'm an environmentalist too, which is also part of why I'm vegan. But he does these beach cleanups, and so I would team up with him on behalf of Kindred Kitchens, and I'd start introducing veganism to people because I would make us have like a zero waste potluck like thing, but everything had to be vegan. So it's like showing people and inspiring them to like think about things, doing it differently, and seeing how good it is. So I'm active through food. I've also, I'm like, well, we didn't do it last year, but I've been like the person who led the vegan parade in Toronto for like 3 or 4 years in a row with my hula hoop. So I like to put out positive energy towards stuff I love. You know, I'm not a big like fighter against stuff, but I have done, I did some stuff outside of Saks Fifth Avenue because they, against Canada Goose. So we did some stuff like that. And mainly what I do is I do it through food. So, oh, also there's another group that I go out with, if they're called Compassion on the Streets. So sometimes we just go, and they do it every Sunday. So it kind of sometimes conflicts with the other beach cleanups, which is also on Sundays. I want to kind of combine them. But it's a bunch of vegans and non-vegans, obviously, but anybody's welcome. But we make vegan food, and we go and we feed the homeless, and we provide them with like amenities and stuff, like maybe a toothbrush, or like sometimes in the wintertime, we'll bring them socks and sleeping bags. And so we go out and look for them, and then we do that way. So, you know, we call it Compassion on the Streets because it's the vegan compassion, right? So,
And mixed with
yeah.
all that, you have time for your business. You are very
Yes.
active.
Yes, I am very active. Oh my God. I don't do it all the time every day. You know what I mean? So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, for me,
Mm-hmm.
I did the lot of like not a lot of. I just started getting introduced to the street activism where I see people doing the cubes of truth. People are standing in front of slaughterhouses, and got
Yeah.
introduced to that. But I really feel like my vibe and my niche is doing interviews like this, creating Vegan World,
Mm-hmm.
putting a documentary together, and the vegan business I'm starting. So it's really
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah, there's so
for
many ways to be an activist. It doesn't have to be like you fighting something like, um, you know, like, that's what everybody thinks of as like, especially as a vegan activism. And I think those cube things are really powerful. I do. But like you too, I feel like it's important to kind of see other ways that people are doing it because everybody has their own reasons, and inspiring people through different ways they may not even have thought of.
definitely, when I first went vegan, I really thought like the vegan movement and like the rise of it was attributed to street activism and Beyond Meat. Like
Yeah.
on the outside that's there, but when I do creating a vegan world, there's a vegan lobbying organization, vegan politician, a materials innovation association, and all these different things.
Yeah.
So go more to the restaurant side of things. I was saying where there's the world is shifting more plant based, more vegan. There's more demand, and then restaurants their menus are like kind of lacking, and they need to catch up to fulfill the demand. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Okay. So that's actually, I'm launching the restaurant evolution, and the goal is to put immunity on the menu through plant-based food fixes, but also in that help people systematically and like take measurable results of how much they're reducing their impact by like, you know, the qualifications or quantifications from how many animals' lives they save through each meal, and like reducing stuff so it's not styrofoam, and like, you know, or like zero waste, and having a rewards incentives. But back to your point about the menus is really important. And actually now I'm doing this Cisco's virtual kitchen. And so I was talking about this because restaurants are starting to realize that they need to adapt, because if they're not going to adapt their menus and at least cater to the vegan community, they're going to miss out, because big brands like McDonald's and Starbucks, like they're all jumping on the vegan bandwagon. Personally, like I'd rather support a small business, but if that small business only has like a salad with tomatoes and cucumbers, and then it's like $8, and then there's like these like, you know, super unhealthy things that are meat based, like I wouldn't want to go there. So that if I'm with a group of people, they're not just missing out on me, they're going to miss out on everybody I'm with. Same goes for delivery, which is the way things are going these days. So to at least be open to having the offerings to, you know, do it. And we need to start thinking about this now too, because it's actually healthier. You know, if we're having a health crisis, we need to start putting healthier things on the menu so that people can, because like obesity is one of the biggest diseases we have in the world right now. And it's like, there's really no connection between the health industry and the food industry, but there should be, because food is a medicine, or at least it could be. It's not right now because we have like, all these like carcinogens and fake foods and stuff. So that's why, vegan plant-based food, but also local food as well is really important to not only supporting restaurants, and improve their service, cater to a wider niche, increase their sales. There's so many reasons that they should do it, but also because it's going to support the local economy if they're supporting local agriculture. So we can all be healthier and more prosperous.
That's amazing. And I just wrote an article for the Vegan Review where I saw about 3 restaurants here in Australia where one of them, they have a vegan chef. So she's introducing more plant-based healthy meals into the menu. Another one, they have an entire section, the full menu here, but the big center is like, here's the plant-based vegan section. And another one, they have everything on their menu has the vegan version. So of course there's the fully vegan restaurants.
That's what I want to do with the restaurant evolution is so like take their best sellers, veganize them, but also healthify them using local ingredients. And then having that whole menu, people start to do it. Even if they're just looking at it from like the high calorie point, like not everybody wants to do it because they're concerned about the animals. Some people want to do it because they want to lose weight, or they have like a condition, they can't eat that, or they have an allergy. So at least having that option, like it's really going to be the deciding factor for someone like me who's conscious from choosing their restaurant over another.
Definitely. Can you drill down more in the specifics of what? Love it. Can you drill down more in the specifics of what you do? Like, let's say there's a restaurant that's not fully vegan. They might have like one option, like a veggie burger. So with your, sorry, I forgot the name, the restaurant evolution.
Okay. So the restaurant evolution is, it's actually more of like a program that they can do. So veganizing their menu, but everything in this vegan menu has to go through reduced waste packaging. So it's more than just the menu. It's like a menu optimization that is more than just the food. It's also like how the food is packaged so that we can take measurement of the reduced impact and the improved health and stuff like that. So that being said, if there is like, 5 best sellers at this restaurant, the restaurant evolution menu would be those 5 veganized, but also like showing how much healthier it is. So it's like giving people incentives to choose the plant-based option. And also to see like the reduced impact, because like, taking like a burger versus, a rice and whatever burger, like a beef burger, you know what I mean? Like it's not only healthier, but nutritionally it's superior, but also it's reducing impact, and then not serving it in like, styrofoam, that also reduces impact. So that's what it is. It's giving people an actual measurement and incentives to do the right thing. Because right now it's like our menus are the opposite. There's just not enough healthy, delicious vegan food available. And if there were, people would be ordering more for whatever reason. So we need to start doing that for a lot of reasons, right? Like it impacts the health, it impacts our environment, it impacts like the animals and yeah, lots of stuff.
Absolutely. And one of the restaurants I went to, just 3 of us went there. I was the only vegan one, but because the plant-based nachos were in the full center of the menu, that's the one someone else suggested. And it's like bringing more people in, and they're like actually enjoying veganism, and it's really cool.
What I want to do is first find out like how much, like what percentage of their menu is actually vegan. And it's not just about vegan, it's also about localized food. So it's creating a badge system so that people can actually identify that they are like a local one. They are sustainable. There's different measurements for sustainability. Like, are they, zero straws or like zero plastic straws? Do they use, eco-friendly packaging? There's no styrofoam, so it kind of rates them on stuff like that. But then it's taking the next step and being like, okay, well, what are your best selling items? And then taking those items and using, whatever ingredients we can come up with. It doesn't have to be local, because sometimes that's completely impossible, but that's what we're trying to strive for, is increasing them. So making more like kind of fusion dishes and stuff like that. But basically taking whatever their regular bestseller is and then making it healthier and also veganizing it. So it's like not only veganizing it, but just being vegan. And I'm sure you know this from doing that interview with Veg Carissa. is that about half of the allergens actually come from some sort of animal byproduct. So they're also, by doing this, making themselves cater to that niche as well, which is an increasing niche too. So it's kind of like helping them meet more people's needs that they may not be catering to. Like Italian restaurants, there's so much bread, and it's all dairy and stuff like that. So they're like, for me, unless it's like a place where they have like nice salads and stuff, I usually don't go to those places because it's harder for me to find something. Or well, us vegans can make something because we're pretty good, like experienced vegans. We're like, I'll take a little bit of that and a little bit of that and a little bit of that. But this actually makes it easier because it's like you have that already made for you. But it's a good way for them to also increase sales, because you can have like a simpler version and then having add-ons that are also vegan. So it doesn't have to like necessarily cost more. Everybody always thinks that vegan food costs more, when in actuality, if you're not getting all of these processed foods and you're doing it in-house, it's way cheaper. It will actually save the money. It's not just like, I know like the new vegans, they're like, oh, it's so expensive, and people that are like switching. But that's because they're buying these commodities, right? But if you're actually buying plants, it's way cheaper and it's way healthier.
Definitely. When you think about it, it's like you buy the beans, then Beyond Meat, say for example, they put all these different things into it. They have the factory, and they put it out. But if you're straight from the beans, it's cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And then the really cool thing about that,
good brands out there, and it is a good option for restaurants to use them if they can't do anything. And there are ones better than others, you know what I mean? Which is nice, because that's why it's good to have some certification, because sometimes there's like weird ingredients in there, like preservatives and stuff. So I like the transparency, and I think that the whole world is also shifting to that, with animal rights and ethics, but also like the quality of the ingredients too. People are becoming concerned. Well, they should be concerned about, all these chemicals and stuff that are not on the labels. So it's just nice to have something that provides that trust and transparency, which is a huge issue right now for a number of reasons, like sanitation, cross-contamination. So yeah, putting immunity on the menu through consciousness and incentivizing conscious shift towards healthier, plant-based vegan food. So I say plant-based, even though everything is vegan, just because it's a widely accepted term. Because some people, they have an aversion to veganism. You know what I mean? So everything is vegan. I don't necessarily will like market it as the vegan menu. Sometimes like with restaurants, like this one restaurant I work at, everything's vegan, but they call it the lighter choices menu. Because they want to make it more attractive to people for more reasons. Because not everybody, has the same incentives to eat healthy vegan food like we do, but everyone can benefit from eating healthier. So whatever works.
Absolutely. Yeah, my last interview, I was talking about the vegan versus plant-based thing, where I started the business. It's called Vegan Health Pack, where it's helped cholesterol reduction, heart health, gut health, brain health, etc. But then I was doing the marketing, I realized most people are not vegan, and vegan is like a trigger word for a lot of people. So
exactly.
My experience, plant-based is getting so much more mainstream attention.
Yeah. And it's, and it goes beyond veganism. Like you said, like somebody doesn't have to be vegan to be plant-based, but plant-based, but they don't. Veganism is always plant-based. There we go. I was like, what am I saying here? I don't know. It sounds weird. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, as you said, like it doesn't have to be plant-based, but there are plant-based products, that aren't food that we wouldn't eat. So it's like, and that's also healthier. And so that's why I mean, like it's accepted. Like having a plant-based soap rather than having something with all these toxic chemicals is obviously better for your health. So that's why I like to use plant-based too, because we just associate it with like nature and Mother Earth. So yeah.
The natural feel.
But yeah, I am vegan, and all of my stuff is vegan certified, but I don't always use that word just because maybe it's because some people are like overly active. You know what I mean? Like I know when I first became vegan, I would, you tell everyone you're like, I'm vegan. It's just like weird. You just like have to like, you're like embracing it. Right. And then I had a cousin who once said to me, she's like, how do you know someone's a vegan? Oh, they'll tell you. And I was like, oh, that's true. But we feel like we have to, because we have to like warn people like, oh, I can't eat that because I'm vegan. Or it's nice to put it out there to create that demand.
Definitely. Or when you go to like dinner parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Where like restaurants, they always have
I
options.
bring my own food to dinner parties because I'm like, hey guys, I did it last night actually. I dropped off something for my friend because they were having like a housewarming thing. And so I brought, I have so much food because I do cooking shows every Friday in Cisco's virtual kitchen. So I had like, I made a Beyond ciabatta. It was like this like massive thing like that long. I actually had to cut it in half to like bring two halves. So I used Beyond, and then I made a portobello steak, and I made this nice tomato sauce with sauteed onions and roasted peppers and sundry. It was so like gourmet. And I brought it there, and everyone's like non-vegans, like, this is amazing. I'm like, it's vegan, you know? So it's like really nice to show people. So rather than like putting that out there, I'm just like, here it is, undetectably healthy and vegan. And all the carnivores love it.
Do you ever get the thing where, yeah, you ever get the thing where you cook something where it's vegan, they say they love it, then you say, oh, it's vegan, you tell them, and they're like, not anymore.
Yeah. No. They were like, they didn't do that. It was all good.
That's good.
You can't hate on good food just because it's vegan.
Definitely. Then, what did I say? I wrote down 2 notes between the little call things. So, United Nations Sustainability. That word.
Okay.
The sustainability goals.
Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah.
All right. Yes. I'll say that 10 times fast. I can't say it once, but
you know, it's a mouthful.
I'll let you use the phrase.
United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Great.
So there's 17 of them. And with the Restaurant Evolution, I'm going to be impacting 7 of them. So, I mean, in the vision that I'm working with and the partners that I have, it will actually increase more because we're all kind of on the same mission to create a healthier future and prosperity and better health. But anyways, what I'm going to be impacting is number 3, which is good health and well-being. And that's by putting immunity on the menu right now. Like, we are all concerned about our health, and plants are proven to be medicine, highly nutritious, and also by doing, you know, better agricultural processes. Because I'm in a group that is dedicated to these sustainable development goals. So they're going to be kind of part of it, supplying the restaurants with food. So anyways, that is going to be, it's also going to be reducing inequalities, because as a vegan, you know, we're a minority group. People don't consider veganism as like, you know, a minority, but we really are, right? And we, just because we're not like a visible minority, we're still a minority. And food is something that is like a human right. So it does affect it in that sense. It's also number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. So the production, responsible consumption of what we're eating, because it directly impacts our environment, and, you know, doing supplying local supply chains too. That also helps improve the economy. And then the production is also, it's less impactful. It consumes way less energy to be plant-based. Also, when I want in the future to do the Restaurant Evolution menus in ghost kitchens, so it even reduces more, because they're going to be sharing facilities, sharing costs, and it's going to be easier for everybody too, because there will be, you know, less chance of like, you know, cross contamination, because everything has to be vegan and stuff in these kitchens, right? But I'm not there yet. But anyways, that's kind of coming forward. Number 8 is decent work and economic growth. So right now, by localizing stuff and not using outside sources like third-party drivers like Uber Eats, which are like conglomerates and they're not Canadian or, you know, local. This is a local plan, but I want it to go global. So like, I want it to become a model that we can implement in other places. But anyways, it's about supporting local systems. So, you know, local businesses, working with local restaurants, working with local agriculture or like farmers. Also industry innovation. This is totally innovating, especially right now, because everyone is having to shift because of the pandemic and the lockdowns and stuff like that. So the world has now shifted online, and delivery is expected to like increase by like, I can't remember what the statistic is, but like massively, at least by 50% by 2023. So sustainable cities and communities. So that's also another one, just because this is, you know, also helping these people through like bulk buying programs that can make these more expensive solutions like eco-friendly packaging or reduce waste more economically feasible, but also like kind of mandated, you know, to be part of this. And then life on land, because obviously there's going to be less animals that are, you know, suffering if people are doing more plant-based. And then inevitably life on water or life underwater, because well, also they're fish, but most of the waste and stuff like that, it all ends up in the oceans anyways. Like, even if we throw it out, it gets thrown there. So it's like a big cycle. You can't just solve one of these problems, it's all interconnected. So
There's
anyways,
so
that's
many
what
of
I'm
us doing it.
yeah, everything is connected. That's basically what it is. But I'm making it into like this little system that supports this conscious shift by getting people working towards this. So yeah, that's what it is.
That is amazing, and I see how busy you are. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's all coming. I mean, and it's evolving. Like like I have the vision of how it's going to be, but right now, like I'm working with what I can and just getting people onboarded and stuff like that. It hasn't actually launched yet, but I have some people helping me out, and we're starting to do some giveaways and working with brands and stuff. So it's good.
Amazing.
Really excited. Yeah.
Here's a question I always love asking, where what's your vision of the future like when your work is done? So let's say all your work you do, you're not needed anymore. Like what's the world look like?
Oh, okay. Well, actually, you know what? I'll never be done because I'm an entrepreneur. Like there's so many things I want to do and so many, problems I want to address and stuff like that. Like once this is underway, like there's a lot of other things I like, passion projects I want to do. But I'm also an artist. So I'm a performing artist. I'm a mixed media artist as well. And I sing. So I'm also a yoga instructor too. So I really just want to help kind of like heal the world through art. So through song, song is a really powerful way to like raise your vibration. Raising your vibration is a really like, it's a good way to boost your immunity, like on an energetic level. So I like to do that and just like inspire people to do stuff through art. I feel like art is a really good medium to inspire change because it's just understood on so many levels. So I would probably dedicate more of my time to art and traveling and eating more food. But it will all be work because even this work that I'm talking, it's like a passion project. Like sometimes if I'm working on something, I'll work until like 4 a.m. and I don't even stop because it's like, you just get into flow. It's my purpose. Just a purpose-driven person, I guess.
I'm the same way. My last corporate job was 2014. And then if I'm working 11 o'clock at night on a Friday, it just doesn't even seem like work. It's what I do.
Yeah.
And I guess that entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah. What was your corporate job?
I started off in customer service for a used car finance company. Then I moved up to the IT department. So it was a company called Drive Time in the US. But basically I worked a job to pay the bills, and it was a normal corporate job. Then I built an app business, experienced a digital nomad life, wrote my first book, started a coaching, so the coaching practice, help first-time entrepreneurs get motivated, find business ideas, etc. Then I helped the company called Veg Ready, which is ready-to-eat vegan meals that are delivered online. There's shelf stable. And then now I'm working on this and building out Plant Health Pack to help improve people's health. So I know you asked
Awesome.
so I'm sure after this, there will be more projects to come.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool though. I mean, I feel like that's better when you're building like a portfolio of experience, of like passion projects that you did that you can like be like, this is the impact I made or what I was involved in, I think that's so powerful. So
Absolutely. Cool.
May the work never end.
It will never end. Then there's so many questions I want to ask, but the two that I wrote down was the one I couldn't pronounce. And then you mentioned a few menu items or recipe creation ideas where maybe it's something simple someone could try at home, or if a restaurant owner is watching this, something simple they can incorporate.
Yeah. Okay. So let's think breakfast, for example. So breakfast is a really common, people like to go for their brunch and stuff. There's so many different things you can do to replace egg, like so many different ways you can do it. And for one of my shows with Cisco, I did something with Beyond. And so I did this whole breakfast series for them. And so to be an example, if you wanted to use a product, but like I made, they had like these like sweet Italian sausages, and then I made banana nice cream. So, and I put it in a waffle bowl, and then they had other sausage. So it was just like this breakfast nice cream bowl, you know what I mean? And like, you could put like the fried cauliflower on it instead of like the fried chicken, people like the waffle and fried chicken. So basically anything like that, but doing it healthier, like using a banana, for example, to make nice cream. It's way healthier and way easier. And it's like something that these restaurants would probably have anyways. So they could be like totally adding to that, just using existing produce. Another one would be taking scrambled eggs dish with your bacon and toast and stuff like that. And you could easily make something with scrambled tofu. So what you can do is you just add a little turmeric, some garlic powder, some onion powder. Sometimes add a little mustard in it too. You can add some miso as well, nutritional yeast, and you just kind of mash it up, like scramble it, and it's like scrambled eggs. Sometimes it's so, because I used to eat eggs, right? Like that was my main protein when I wasn't vegan. I ate a lot of eggs. And so sometimes I'm making it and it looks to me so much like scrambled eggs. I call it scrambled eggs. And they're like, but I don't eat eggs. I'm like, no, it's vegan. I swear to God. So that's like a really easy one. And for that same show with Cisco, the virtual kitchen, I made little eggs Benedict. So I just used like a little Beyond sausage patty that they had, put it on an English muffin, put the egg on, and then I made a vegan hollandaise sauce using like almonds as a base, similar ingredients. I used some oat milk or almond milk, like unsweetened, and then some turmeric for the color, not too much, a little garlic powder, some lemon juice, and I added some tarragon, and it was just like this beautiful, nice little hollandaise sauce. So there's so many different things you can do. So it's like, you don't have to be limited to this side salad with tofu. It's like you can really recreate it. And it's totally up to restaurants in the restaurant evolution if they want to do that. But if they want that vegan touch with that creativity, that's where I can come in as a consultant and make like signature dishes.
Great.
Because I come up with all the fancy stuff, So yeah, that's an option. But those are some examples. And like anything can be veganized and doesn't have to be bought. So I used Beyond as an example, but say you wanted to have bacon. We can make some fakin, right? So my favorite and the most, I swear I fed this to so many meat eaters and they're like, wow, that's really good. Rice paper bacon. So with rice paper bacon, why I think it's like superior to other like fakins, you can like mushroom bacon, coconut bacon's pretty good if you want the like little flakes and stuff, but you can do it with tempeh, you can do it with eggplant.
Banana peels, some people try that.
Yeah, banana peel is like really versatile too. You can even do like a pulled pork dish with them if you don't want to use jackfruit. But rice paper, because if you cook it in the fat, like of the coconut oil, it kind of crisps up, but then it still has that like sponginess. You know how so like bacon has like the fat and the crunchy parts? It actually like texturally, it is very similar. And then you can season it with some dark miso. Dark is better for like meatier flavors, like dark miso, whereas white miso is better for like cheese or like seafoods. Just if anybody needs to know that, that's like a really easy tip. Just think like dark meat and like whites. But anyway, so dark, you can use white miso too, but dark miso, I use tamari, which is just like a gluten-free soy sauce. You can use a little vegan Worcester, which is really nice. It's not necessary. I've done it without it. Some cumin spice. You add smoked paprika. It gives it that really nice smoky flavor. And then some garlic powder. And sometimes I throw in some onion powder and a little maple syrup, and you just marinate it. And what I like to do is I actually like do 2 or 3 sheets together because I find the rice paper is very thin. So you just kind of like wet it and let it marinate, and I just cut them into strips with scissors, and then I put them, they're better when they're done in a pan because I add a little bit of oil to them so that they have that like fatty, like texture. But then I cook them in a pan with oil and they are like just like bacon. So that's a really easy thing, and it actually keeps, you know what I mean? So it's like if they just knew some little secrets to doing vegan and making it more efficient, you know what I mean? Like you can do it and prep ahead like you prep everything, and have some like just totally redo the same dish, but make it better.
Amazing. Yeah, I've done the oats for breakfast. My main thing, I've done the tofu scramble, but the vegan bacon, I've never made that before.
You gotta make it. Let me know how you like it. If you need a recipe.
Do you have a cookbook yet? Have you published a cookbook yet?
No, everyone's asked me about a cookbook. I have so many recipes, but I have just not put them together. But that's one of the things my assistant is helping me with. And I'm also doing some cooking classes. So I've teamed up with, it's Climate Smart Victory Gardens. She's actually on the sustainable development team that I'm working with. But we're doing like a vicarious trip around the world through different flavor destinations, but we're also helping people like understand how to grow their own stuff, how to ferment and do things that are basically like, life skills, but also sustainable, because that's what Victory Gardens was. It like stemmed from the last World War when there was a food scarcity. And so it was, it was a not-for-profit that basically helped people grow their own food and like create community gardens and stuff. So now 100 years later, they're still doing that. And there's no time like the present to get people involved in that. So we're doing that. And it's going to be like a 2-series certification. So if people want to do the 2 courses, they'll get certified as a climate smart, which means that it's kind of like carbon neutral soil and sustainable methods. So it's almost like getting a certification like organic, but organic's really expensive and there's a lot of protocols. So this is kind of something else, but this would go in the restaurant evolution because they'd be like a climate smart, sustainable producer. So like that could be microgreens, it could be carrots, it could be anything. So that's exciting. But each class we're going to like different like countries or kind of like regions and then doing dishes from them and teaching them different, and everything's vegan, of course. So
I love the theme. For my plant health pack, I wanted to do a thing of like different parts of the world. So artichoke leaf extract is clinically proven to reduce cholesterol. That's from Peru. And I want to make like a little map on the website for different like medicinal herb type of things. I don't know if I could use that phrase legally, but because lawyers, there's so much regulation around that, but the food is medicine thing, but it's really interesting.
But it's true. Food is like Plato said it, like, thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago, whatever. But it's equally, as food is medicine, it's also poison. If you're not eating real food or you're eating, carcinogenic stuff like bacon or processed food or even GMOs. So people need to be more conscious, but yeah.
I haven't heard the phrase food is poison before, but it'll quote
Medicine,
there.
but it's also poison.
Definitely. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or just want to give people your website and where they can find more from you?
Sure. Yeah, they're welcome to find out my about the Restaurant Evolution. Right now, like I said, it's going to be launching in Toronto, but I am going to be expanding as soon as I can. It is therestaurantevolution.com. And also my Instagram is kindred_kitchens. And my website is kindredkitchens with an S.ca. And kindred is like kind and red. It's like that word, which also is like kind because it's compassion, kindness to the earth and to yourself. Just, everything that is kind and kind to the environment and whatever. But red is also the color of love. Red is the color of passion. Red is also the color of the root chakra, which is our connection to source, to Mother Earth. But also, it symbolizes our basic survival needs, which is like food and water, shelter, love. So that's kindred. But also kindred spirits means people that are on the same mission. So as kindred, kitchens, we're uniting with kitchens, because there's more than one of us, to start systematically working towards making this world a healthier and more prosperous place through plant-based food solutions.
That is amazing. And for people that have your spelling already, I'll put links in the descriptions of the video.
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening all the way through. If you like Angela and the work that she's doing, visit her website, social media. I'll put the links in the description. And if you want to contribute, Creating a Vegan World, it's a documentary documenting what happens behind the scenes that explains the rise of the plant-based and vegan movement. So it's my mission 10, 20, 40 years in the future. If there's another big social justice movement, we could see exactly what it takes to make a large change in the world. So with that being said, we need some help with growing the channel, the movement, and the community as a whole. So if you're interested in helping out, whether it's spreading the word on social media, suggesting other guests, financing to help us improve our camera gear to get Netflix approved camera gear for the documentary, or other things along those lines, if you know someone yourself that you'd like to be on the show, then visit veganworldfilm.com or check the links in the description. There's a link to my personal LinkedIn page there where we could connect one-on-one and see if you'd like to play a role in creating a vegan world. So that being said, check out the links in the description, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.